Yeah, it is.
I haven't really.
I was just checking.
Everybody can get back
She
here.
is-
Yeah, and then I'll get see
Wednesday we're meeting.
Hey, wait, there's two people there?
All right, the meeting of February 28th is back in session. Make it on 7:30, please. Okay, at this time, we're going to allow the public to address their concerns, and I don't have a pecking order, so who wants to go first? Nobody?
I think there's some people.
I'm not sure if they heard you.
Okay, come on in, guys.
I'm here.
You guys got public comments?
Well, I found out my public comment needed to be addressed to a different government.
You're not doing it?
No,
I have one.
because these guys have no control over my complaints.
Can I go?
There you can go.
I know this is a lake meeting, and so I apologize, it's not about the lake. I'm basically just defending my family that, at about an hour and 15 minutes of the last meeting, there was a comment made regarding my family's my family's building.
Would you mind coming in here? So they
I
can,
don't want to do
oh,
that.
okay.
No.
Speak louder.
And it was said that we are waiting for the city to move on that building. Not sure what that, well, implying that we're not doing anything actively with my family's building. And I want you all to know that that is not true. As soon as it started coming down, we've been looking for options. Don't know if any of you have tried looking for grants.
I can
It's
address
not
that.
as, what?
I can address that. If you'd
Okay.
like.
Oh, I just want you all to know that we're not just sitting on it as
Yeah,
was
and I want
said.
you to know that we're not sitting on it either. We are actively pursuing grants that people that have buildings such as your father's in the condition it's in can get removed. Not the building, but the damage to it can all be removed with a grant at no cost to your father or any of your family members. And I believe the date that these people are coming out to talk to us about that is the 21st of March. Is that correct, Brett?
And that's what I just wanted you guys to know is
Yeah.
that we have been looking for grants,
And,
Yes.
and it's
Help
just
you.
implied that we're that we're just sitting on it. And I want y'all to know that we're not.
no.
And with my family not being able to, to defend ourselves, with that being said, it really bothered me. And I want y'all to know that we know it needs fixed. We know it needs taken care of, and we are trying. I mean, obviously, the way the building is, it's probably not going to be fixable, and it breaks my heart to know that because that's my family's history up there. But on the other hand, we are not just
We're gonna be having-
expecting the city to do whatever. It's not that was.
We're having a work session on the night of March 21st, immediately after we have a walkthrough with the people that are telling us about the grants and what qualifies and what don't. And even environmental protection is part of a cleanup too. So there's all sorts of things that we can get for the current owners of the buildings in town that will help them get that stuff cleaned up.
Is the Flint Hills Regional Council, are they doing anything? Because like I had talked to, I think her name was Christy. I don't know. Actually, the way time goes, it might have been a couple years ago. And she was kind of helping me try to find stuff.
We're working with a lady named Janet Williams right now.
Okay.
I think Christy left.
Oh,
I think
did
she
she?
was the one that, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, that was my, I just wanted y'all to know that what was said at the last meeting is not true regarding my family. We're not just sitting waiting for whatever to be done, that we are, and we have been for a long time, looking for options, trying to
And
figure out what to do about it.
I apologize to you. I'll have to rewatch that meeting because I don't recall that statement being
It-
made.
It was at an hour and 15 minutes. It was a public comment. It was not,
It wasn't the city council, somebody from the public that made a comment?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I just wanted to defend, and let you
Sure.
guys know
Sure.
that, yeah, that's the case. So,
Well, unless the people from Wabunsee County can't make it on the 21st, right now it's scheduled for the 21st.
and is that something just for you guys, or is
No,
that
it's
something
open-
like,
it's
could I
open-
come
it's-
and?
Yes, it's
Open to
open to the
everything.
public.
Okay,
It's open, it'd be open to the public. You could even walk around with us if you want to.
okay,
And probably because of the condition of that building, you may want, or your father may want to come down and
Yeah.
walk with us, and so they can ask questions firsthand of the folks that help you with that, okay?
okay,
And if it changes, we'll let that notice be out there too.
okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more open comments from the public? Okay, let's move on. Stephanie, department report.
So really quick, everyone has a financial sheet. And then like Carrie said, I was just gonna remind you guys that the EPA and the KDHE had responded to Jana and they're looking at March 21st.
What time did that walkthrough schedule?
Well, I mean, she didn't,
Didn't have a time yet.
It
so I don't know
was
if
before the last dates didn't work out. It was 4:00.
4:00.
That's when the walkthrough starts, and
So
probably
we can-
5:30 will be the,
But yeah, I have Stephanie confirm that. But
Okay.
when we had talked before, it was 4:00.
and then 5:30 would be the work session.
Right.
Okay. And then I think there was one more thing, which I don't know if I should talk about it now or when we talk about the permit office contract, but someone is asking about voting in March. And I didn't know in the past it wasn't open until April 1st. So I didn't know if that was a thing where if the contract is March 15th through. If
Well,
we're
right now the
letting
gate
people-
is continued to be open, so anybody could go out there.
I
Just
was
throwing
gonna
that
say,
out
the
there.
gate's wide open, so.
Well, they're asking about getting a
It's
boat
supposed to be
permit. We could
necessary.
probably,
Yes.
yeah, it's not supposed to be, so
Exactly.
we can block that.
I mean, if
We
our,
tell the guys, but
you can sell permits here too, right?
That's one of my questions.
But it'll be, if I could sell it here, like voting would be different, cause like I wouldn't be out there to let someone on, give them the
Inspect.
tag, do the inspection, all the stuff. So if someone's gonna be out there, I guess I just need direction. If someone's gonna be there for March 15th, cause before the contract was March 15th and the rest of March, they were doing cleanup and stuff like that, and then permits were sold. So I don't know, we can talk about it later if we just wanna clarify that. And then I can let these people know if they can vote in March or not. They were looking at coming to stay at the lake, so that's what they wanted to know. They can put a vote on it.
Somebody would have to do the boat inspection.
Right, that's what I said, yeah.
Is the campground open March 15th or is it not?
That's kind of my question.
Can you bring up
That's when it's scheduled to open.
Well,
March
tentatively,
15th
we
or
said
April 1st?
April
I'm
1.
sorry, what?
Tentatively, we decided April 1
Okay.
because we got such a late start on the contract.
Okay,
No,
so we're, I mean,
But I'm not a big fan of telling fishermen that they can't fish in March because there's a lot of people that want to get out after the ones that are spawning at that time.
Well, I don't see any reason why the city clerk couldn't sell them a permit to camp before
Fish.
that time.
Fish.
Or camp it. Did they want to camp out here? Is that what you're saying? They want to do it?
no, I think they
Okay.
want to stay at a house.
Oh,
Like they
oh,
want
okay,
to put
then,
their
go
boat.
ahead. Okay, yeah. Especially since. we're
So
locking it
if
up
they're gonna
after.
set it out, they'll have a dock that they can have it at. Then they won't have to be taking it on and off every day.
I think so.
Okay. So only one time or twice somebody would have to let them in and off the lake. So I guess the hookup is who's gonna do the inspection.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna have more people, I'm sure, that are gonna be wanting to know when they can down. So.
Why did I know you was gonna like it? Depends on what day it is.
But also, if like someone's gonna be out there, if your contract says March 15th.
Well, that was just their own kind of work and preparation on their own. That really wasn't even like a general opening. I think in the past there's been people there when they've been there. We
They
went
can go
ahead
on.
and yeah, they can go on. But
Okay.
not saying that's the way we do it now or anything. But yeah, I don't know. That's what we
I
have
hate to
done.
get something started, but there's a whole lot of people who drive from their home where their boat is over to the bait house, pay for their boating sticker, go back home and put it on, and then go boating.
How can they do that if the boat's supposed to be inspected?
That was the question for several years.
And it has happened. I know it has.
Yeah,
So made them buy.
paddle boats and all that stuff, canoes and
Didn't we talk last year about not needing it anymore because wasn't it a invasive species issue, or are we
It
still
isn't,
doing?
it's still a state.
Zebra mussels.
I
It's
called
hard
the
to
Kansas Wildlife and Parks, and that's when I brought that information about
There's
the
3 invasive species.
multiple water aquatic
So there's
nuisances.
other
and-
ones.
Yeah. And they had suggested that we continue doing it. That
Okay.
was their suggestion to us when I called them.
I had suggested eliminating it for kayaks and canoes. I thought it was excessive on those watercraft.
Inspections, you mean? Yeah, that makes sense.
On the small personal, what I call personal watercraft,
Yeah.
paddleboard, a kayak, canoe, stuff like that.
My concern with that is that they probably get put in and out of more waterways than the big boats. So they would have more potential to be. I mean, people take their kayaks and put all over everywhere.
The people that live on the lake, and I don't own a boat, so don't laugh at me. Aren't there people that leave them in the lake year round? I mean, I know some people have a drive up dock, so it's out of the water anyway, but they go right back in. So, I mean, what do you even do about that in the first place? Because it seems like
But
They'd
they
have
have to
to-
go off the lake. They're not going, they're not leaving.
they're not
the lake.
leaving the lake.
They're not leaving the lake and going to
But, I
another
mean,
lake
that's-
and they coming back.
But that's those people that would go buy stickers. To
I
go on
mean,
their boat.
one of the things I know
Yes.
that they really look at is like when you drag the grass off the bottom. That has to be taken off the boat before it leaves our premises.
Okay.
And that's what
That
they
makes
look
sense.
at, and make sure there's no mussels or anything on the ramps, the boat. No,
Okay.
That makes
Besides that,
sense.
you're not gonna be able to control anybody at the lake that has a boat in a boat dock or a boathouse on the lake. You're not gonna be able to control them putting that in the water. Somebody going over to the ramp at the bait shop, taking the boat out of the water and going somewhere and coming back and getting back in the water. You're not gonna be able to control that.
no, you're not, but it should be inspected each time they leave that dock and come before it goes back in our lake.
I can see that, but you're not gonna charge them every time they come back.
No.
Okay,
Permits are
all right.
yearly or-
Well, I wanna
No.
make that clear. I wanna make that clear that they're not being
No.
charged. They've already paid for it once. They don't need to be paying for it
But every
again.
boat that goes in and out, no matter what,
In,
needs to
not
be,
out. We don't expect boats leaving.
we should. Because if they're taking grass off, they've been somewhere in the grassy area, those mussels can be on that grass. And then they're just dragging it to another lake.
Well, I can leave it as, I mean, me selling them a permit in here. It's the end of March, and then having the guys or someone who's available going out and checking the boat. I mean, or trying to get the Permit
Really,
person?
I think it's really too late to even act on that for 2 weeks.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Hold it for discussion for the next contract. Okay, we need to get done like in October, or November for the following year. Gives us time to redo all that.
I'm with the opinion that I'd like to get them a boat permit and let them go fish.
Yeah, and I said they can come to City Hall and get that, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't understand
Yeah,
that.
they should be
I
able, because we're selling them both places. But what we don't have is our computer system in that we voted on, that we
Well,
approved.
and that's okay. I mean, I think the concern is just the inspection more than the computer, because we can always get that in
Yeah.
later.
Okay, I see where you're going.
I could
They
get all
come
the
in here and buy
information, so-
a boat permit.
Yeah,
Who's
and
gonna
it's the
inspect the
end
boat?
of March.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
Anybody else have any comments? Okay. Are there any purchase requests or work orders to discuss? None. All right, new city business, park electrical bid. Any?
It looks like we got a bid. This is not actually in my wheelhouse. We did get a bid, but I would really like Mike to be here to discuss it. So could we just table this? I I moved to table this to the next meeting so that Mike can be involved in the conversation.
I second it.
Is that a motion?
Yes. I just
We got a motion to table it to next meeting and a second. Do we have any discussion? Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, 5-0. Okay, next on the list is Karen McDaniel, dock transfers. Karen, are you
Well,
here?
I don't know why it's a dock transfer because I'm not transferring to the new dock. I just was here wanting to know the reason for talking about only two dock or one dock. And I want to know the reason.
Well, first of all, we're not talking about, I want everybody to understand, it. We are not going to take your docks away from you and reduce you down to one. That's
Thank
not,
you.
that is not what we're going to do. However, everybody, once an ordinance does go into effect where everybody can only have one, everybody that currently has more than one is grandfathered in. They're grandfathered in for the docks that they have. They lose those docks, those excess docks, when the property changes hands, whether it's from death or sell it. Because the people coming in after you're gone from that place have to go by the new rules that was established in the first place to put y'all in that grandfather clause. Does everybody understand that? Any comments? Yes, sir.
If I could, so if there's two docks on a place that sells, so what happens to that second dock?
We don't have an answer for that yet. I brought up questions about that too, and I'll throw my personal opinion out on that. Because the dock situation at the lake is getting overcrowded. That's the reason why there's not going to be any more docks allowed on the lake other than one for first and second tier properties. Everybody know what a second tier property is compared to first term?
No,
Okay.
we haven't.
This is speaking in future tense where we haven't,
Yes,
where this is an idea
right.
that's being proposed and this is not something that's been voted on.
That's right.
But we
It's not-
do currently have a
So
moratorium.
I want
for
to
no
delineate that
Well,
is
yeah.
separate.
And to be accurate too, you don't allow people to build two docks for one habitable structure right now.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that was never, hasn't been in effect. That's been in effect for 10 years.
Yeah.
So everybody who has,
We,
What was that?
I said, everybody who has, you cannot have, right now, if you have one piece of property, you cannot build two docks.
You have two lots.
No, I said one habitable structure, one dock. You can't have two docks for one habitable structure.
In other words,
You
you
cannot-
can't have a vacant lot and get a boat dock for the vacant lot.
Or you can't
Or-
you can't have a home and then a vacant lot and get two docks. So that's always been and there's a subset of people who longer than 12 years ago have had one habitable structure that already had two docks at that time. And they have the grandfather status. And what may or may not happen after that to that status upon sale, upon change in ordinance is an open question, but that's what we're talking about.
but the ordinance would need to be changed for that to happen.
Yes.
Because the way it currently reads is both docks or even more docks, you know. If it's tied to that one habitable structure, if that property transfers, the docks go along with it. And in our precedences, we've approved that before.
Yeah.
So that's,
So, yeah, if that were to change, that would be an ordinance. How that's to change would be in the ordinance. So what to happen to the other dock would be in the ordinance. That kind of
As again, me personally speaking, with no authority on what we're talking about, it's set in stone. It's not set in stone. But I personally would be highly upset if I owned property at the lake and I had more than one dock, and I sold it, and the excess docks, what happened to them? Do I tear them down myself at my expense? Do I sell them to somebody on the second tier who wants a dock but doesn't have a dock? That would be logical for me to believe would happen. I don't know what it costs to construct a dock out there, but let's just throw a number out there and say it's $5,000. And if it's $5,000, I don't want to lose $5,000 when I sell my property. I'm wanting to sell that dock. That's just my opinion. So I understand where the residents out there are concerned what's going to happen to the docks and how are we going to get paid back for the expense we put into that. That's what it boils down to. And keep in mind, do we have any realtors in here? Just one. Okay. And that's fine. But keep in mind, the realtors that deal with property at the lake should not be telling potential buyers that this house comes with X number of docks. Because if you got a house that's got 4 docks on it and it's grandfathered in, the new owner does not get those 4 docks. And I'm not sure, were you aware of that? I'm not putting you on the spot. If you're not aware of it, that's great.
This,
Yes,
I'm
it's okay.
here for a dock transfer for us personally, so it's not, I'm not here as.
No, but you're a realtor and I don't know where you work. It's none of my business where you work, but out
I
here.
don't know why we're saying this is the way it is when this is not currently the way it is. That it is speaking in a future tense.
We
It's not
are,
been
yes,
decided.
we're speaking in a future tense. I agree with that, but the folks want to know what, I would like to think they want to know what my opinion is on that. If you don't, then I'll be quiet.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I would just suggest you qualify your statement with saying this is my vision for the lake.
Oh, instead of saying it's my opinion?
Well,
Like you're presenting it like it's already in.
Oh,
The docs
Yeah,
all
that's-
transfer
that's
right
how
now
I'm
with the
taking it sitting
transfer.
here.
He did start
Yeah.
out saying that was his opinion.
otherwise I wouldn't say anything. I mean, okay.
Well, I
that's
was
fine.
confused too, so I just wanted to clarify
Well,
for
we're
everyone.
saying-
does anybody from the lake have any comments on what I said?
I would like to say one thing, just my opinion, my point of view. As a city, I do not want the city to take that second dock. If it ever even comes to that. But it's not because the city wants to start taking that second, third, or fourth, whatever. We don't want to end up with all these docks around the lake. We don't want to maintain them. So it's not because we want that other dock. I can assure you that's not the motive. That's
So has it been already decided?
no, we have.
Well, no, I mean, you were talking that if we sell it, then we can only sell it with one dock. Has that already been?
That has not been decided. That's
It has-
talking in potential future instances.
It was an idea that somebody bounced off and somebody overheard it and went crazy and told everybody that
It was in the meeting. It was on YouTube last meeting. That's
It
why
was-
we're all here.
it was just an idea though. It
I know,
wasn't.
but That's,
It's
that's,
an idea that.
it's an
Mhm.
idea that costs, it devalues our property. And that's why we're here, because all of a sudden I own a house with 2 docks. I bought a house with 2 docks. They were transferred to me when I bought it. And if I sell it, it's only got 1 dock. That devalues that property.
Sure.
I want to make I want to make a correction to you. You bought a house with a lease for space on city property with 2 docks. At any point in time, and I'm telling you this, guys, because you got to get this out of your heads. You do not own city property. You don't have the right to be on city property if this city council decides you don't.
Understood.
Okay.
But
So-
are those docks personal property?
Those docks are personal property and they, under the code, they are personal property. If we decide that you should not have them on city property, they will have to be removed. So what you don't have is the right to place that in perpetuity on the city property. And I want to, because people casually say, I bought a house with 2 docks. True as far as it goes, but you didn't buy the right to have the docks there any longer than the city allows it.
I have a question. You were talking about selling that second dock to a second tier person. To me, a second tier person is the person that owns property out at the lake but doesn't have lake access. How would that affect them? You know, if they bought that dock, do they have to come around and ask?
When you
permission
say
from the city
access,
channel?
what do you mean by lake access? Because everybody has lake access.
You mean
Like
shoreline?
lakefront.
Shoreline,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I meant shoreline.
Okay. Well, there are several people out there that actually have even applied for a dock that's not, even though they have shoreline, their dock isn't right there. They might want it across the cove. So it will be no different.
You do have tier 2 people. with docks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there's,
The idea is the access ways allow you to get to the shoreline and get to the docks, no matter where you are in the.
in
Which
the
tier?
lake.
Yeah.
On the,
Now, I understand that all the first tier people have docks. Am I correct?
I think so.
And just,
I mean,
a-
as
and
far
there's
as I
only,
know.
and there's only just a handful of second tier people that don't have docks. And I think there's more docks out there than there are second tier people that need one or want one. So all this will come up in a discussion at some point down the future, but right now, we're all thinking that everybody's thinking we're taking it away. And I'm assuring you right now, we are not taking them away. So I'm not trying to get you to sell your house and get what you can out of it for $2.
I just, from listening to the YouTube video of 2 weeks ago, that's why I'm here, because that's what it sounds like, the direction you were going, so I wanted to comment.
And I apologize for that, because as the mayor, I should have made it clear so that people wouldn't have this question. After watching
I'm fully
YouTube.
aware that the city owns the lake and the shoreline. I'm fully aware of that. But I just want to see, where this is going.
Right,
and-
what direction?
Just so
Sure,
we can be, let us know what's going on,
right.
because it really affects us. And we're, you kind of put yourself in our situation. We don't have any representation. We're at your mercy. That's just a fact. So we really don't have a say in what you do. So
It doesn't mean your voice
we're just
isn't
supposed to be
taken.
good neighbors, and that's, you've had some battles with some people tonight, but we're not all out against the city. I mean, we're just good, hardworking people. I live there full time. I have a job, and I'm not against the city. So just kind of keep that in mind. We want to be good neighbors.
And I understand and appreciate your comment. And I also understand anybody else's comment. Anytime they want to come down and talk to us about that, are you all on an email list that Richard puts out after every meeting?
I think most people are, yes.
Okay. And
No.
no, because I'd like to get on it too, because I'd like to ties him for what he wrote, but I want to make sure that what he wrote accurately reflects that. And that would help eliminate some confusion as well.
And I would like to add also, you've probably seen if you've been on it for a while on that email list, you've probably seen things from me where I'm putting out questions, wanting to know people's opinion. I do try to inform the lake people of what's going on, just like the fish meeting where we're going to stock the lake. I'm always trying to get the word out to people of what's going on. And the last thing we want to do is bite the hand that feeds us. I mean, we know your role in this too. So
Yeah, well, and that's appreciated, but listening, from the outside, that's we just, like I say, we know we don't have a voice, but like I say, we want to be neighbors. I think we should be able to get along and just go advocate, I mean.
Sure.
easy as that.
And please, everybody at the lake, anytime they want to come to a lake meeting and discuss issues of some kind, bring it on in. Let us know what's on your mind, because that will influence our decisions. We might not like your decision, and you might not like ours, or we might like some and some not, and we might like them all. Who knows? The only thing you got to lose is your time coming down here telling us about it.
you can always call me too. I'm the lake rep. I'll listen.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments from the lake people about docks or anything that's going on that you want to address this time? Nothing? Okay, let's move on to the next person then. Lake resident letters to the council. Do we need to read those?
No,
That's
that's,
the
That's just
same.
that's
information.
the same
for us.
stuff, so we already covered it.
I
Okay,
hope we beat that horse enough.
Dolly Mercer, you're next.
Well, Connie and I are here because the other day when you and Brett came into the store, which by the way, that's the first time I've ever seen you in my store, so welcome. You guys were going to dissolve the accounts that we were going to do. And I asked you why, no, Connie and I were going to go ahead and and do that, and you said that the lawyer had advised you that you guys should do it. So that tells me that you probably talked about us in executive session. Do you guys have a problem with us that you need to talk to us about?
No, but I'm going to clarify your statement just for
Yeah.
a second.
You've been in there before. Okay. Go ahead.
We did not say that we were going to go close the account. In fact, I offered to take you in my car and you go along with us. Did I not? Do you not remember
Only
that?
after I insisted that we were gonna do it, and then you said you can come if you want to.
Absolutely, because I had nothing to hide. I wanted you to come. You
That's
eventually
not what
showed.
I'm talking about. I'm asking why this brought me here is because why was that done in the first place?
Because I have a duty and a responsibility not only to the city but to the residents that I represent to make sure everything's in order.
Such as what?
Such as everything being closed out. There's no outstanding checks going on. Just double checking it. There's not a problem with that.
You couldn't
And
have asked. And you went in there and you got statements and stuff too, and you had statements copied. Brett did that. Why did you do that? You made
There's no, I'm gonna cut this out. There's no utility in discussing what happened. If you want to make a statement, Dolly, please make the statement.
I'm gonna get a statement.
Yeah, make the statement to the recorder and on.
All right,
on
my
YouTube.
statement is, I feel like you guys are looking for wrongdoing. I feel like you were looking for embezzlement or some sort of grifting or some kind of me lying to you guys. I had already asked Tiffany, who works down there at that bank, how we should, when we knew that everything was paid for, how we should present that to the council. And she said, Mom, you can get a certified check and take it down there. That's what we were planning to do. Now, we were going to do it together because we've been working on that thing forever. And so that's what we had planned on doing. And so when you came in and that way, it made me feel like you thought something untoward was going on. And so
I can't control people's feelings. I can tell you that right now, but you were
you
offered to
can
go
tell me
with
the
us.
truth.
I am telling you the truth. You were offered to go down there with us,
And I did go down there.
but you didn't come with us. You were too
No.
upset because we wouldn't let you handle
Yeah.
it. And it's just like me telling the
And
city
why would
council.
you get the idea to do that? Why would you get the idea to handle it yourself when we were going to do it? I gave you 100.
The city is the general partner of a partnership, and the money belongs to the city as a general partner,
Yeah,
and that's why.
that's good time. Yeah, I know, even though it was dissolved. Yeah. Mhm.
It was dissolved.
Yeah.
I was told that the housing board was dissolved when the apartments reverted to the city.
Well,
Yeah, I know. That was such a mess.
And nothing was ever done, so if you go to the county, the deed for those apartments has Dolly's name on it. The city
Yeah.
doesn't.
I owned the apartments for 2 years and didn't know
Yeah.
it. My name was the only name on that deed. So I think whenever we separated from Nebraska, some things didn't get done.
Yeah.
Could be because the state didn't do it, could be because our lawyer didn't do it. I don't know. To me, it was a mess. And so when we found out that my name was on the deed, nobody was upset by it. They just went ahead and did it right. Todd, were you there at that 11/19 meeting that they had to settle everything and to make it the transfer done? And how much was going to be paid?
no, it was not.
Okay, so anyway, nobody had any problems with it, and so it went ahead and the sale went on. No, I just wanted to know. Okay, go ahead.
So my question is, has that account been closed?
Which one?
Well, we only had one at the bank. Because the deposit account went to the new owners. So the only account left was the maintenance. I just want to know whether or not it's been
I think that
closed.
they gave us a deposit account because I offered to transfer all that money to them. Because when they bought the building, I said, do we need to transfer that money to you? And they said, no, whatever's left there in that accounts, you can have. So
Wow, I didn't know
that was
that.
generous of them, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's,
So I'm
there was
just,
more left than what you thought.
yeah. That as soon as that's closed, I've got stuff in my house that I'm gonna
Yeah.
dispose of.
there, which by the way, they're going to add a 2-bedroom apartment to that building plus building a 4-plex for more housing in Essex.
And that's their business. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do
Oh,
with
you'd be
that.
happy
Yeah,
about it.
I'm just wanting to know if we are done with you, is all I wanna know.
And you don't have any questions?
No,
And there was nothing nefarious going on? Fine, thank you.
I can be done.
okay, moving on. Welsh or Hash, both of y'all here or one of you?
Just the hash side, not
Just-
the Welch
Just
side.
the Hash side. 70 Lakeview Circle, transfer of 2 docks.
I don't know if we got pictures of this one. Sally,
Yes.
did we get pictures of this one?
Yes.
70 Lakeview. Okay.
Yes,
I didn't-
but I couldn't get them to print out.
Okay.
But I can give you guys the measurements. I mean, wait a minute. No,
This is
no,
just a-
I'm on the wrong one. 70? No, I don't have them.
This is
Okay.
just a sale transfer though, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah.
It's just a transfer.
They do have a survey. It's 2 docks.
You see the survey's the next page.
No sheds or anything like that, fire pits, retaining walls.
I'd have to look on this.
There is kind of a retaining, it's kind of an older structure, rock retaining. That I think that Dr. Welch had told us there was a special on it, like $20 a year or something. It's not much, to be honest with you. It's not exactly a retaining wall. It's kind of a little laid back area by one of the, right in front of the docks. So, do you have that in front of you? Is there a special on it?
It doesn't show, I don't see anything on the survey that shows the,
Well, it's not.
Usually the
adjacent to the
surveys
lake,
don't show.
adjacent to the lake.
It's not much. It's made out of rock. It's not concrete.
Yeah.
I do. Nice survey. Who did this?
Yeah, I do. I like that
That's
survey.
Mitch. I really love it.
I'll move to transfer Welch to Hash.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the transfer and a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion, I should say? Okay, all right. I thought you were getting ready to ask a question.
I was
Okay.
waiting on you.
All right, all in favor, all in favor? Okay, approved. 5-0 if you want to know the count. And, okay. 108 Prairie View Drive transfer. 1 dock from Erickson to Patrick. Do we have that? Anything in there?
So no, this is a second tier yeah, it's a second tier property. So it's, or third tier, I think. So as far as a survey, there wouldn't really be anything to survey.
I don't think it's required.
It's not for a third tier, but they do have a dock at 108 Prairie View.
And my understanding, the dock was grandfathered in with the property.
And you're buying the property.
He's bought,
And you're buying the property. So when it changes hands, the grandfather clause is no longer in effect. You're aware of that, right?
Well,
well,
he's got 2 properties. He's got 2 properties.
Right? And he's getting rid of one of, he's got 2 properties. Okay, and you're selling, oh, he's saying no.
You have 2 properties, 108, which is your current residence.
No, 1 or 2.
102, sorry.
Yeah,
That's your current residence that has 1 dock.
right.
There's a place that you just bought, that's the other property, across the street,
Across the street.
108, and it has a dock,
Right.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so but you just bought the second plot, so he's asking that lot with that dock be transferred to him.
I'll move to approve Erickson to Patrick.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, you're approved.
Thank you.
Also by a score of 5-0.
What's this next one?
Yes, it was next meeting.
Had to have a contract first. We have to approve the contract tonight, and then we can show them what they're applying for. Hopefully, meeting soon, very soon.
All right, next up on the agenda is the bait shop contract.
No,
Sorry.
skip.
Am I
So-
missing something?
Purchase of city lot at
Purchase.
108. So
Okay, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself here.
still, Mr. Patrick, and he's requesting to purchase the property. And it's city-owned property, and it's this little triangle, by the property that he's purchasing at 108 Prairie View.
City owns it.
This is at the lake.
Yes,
Mhm.
he just bought this.
Mr. Patrick, I have to ask you this question.
This is an
You
easement.
asked us to provide
Or just our own.
a starting point for a price.
Beg pardon?
In your letter, you asked us basically for a starting price that we can agree on.
Right, yeah, the negotiating price. What we do.
Okay. I, for one, would like to have the property valued before I come up with a proposal. That's me. I don't even know the size of it. I'm looking at the map, but it doesn't specifically say how big that property is.
I guess it could have. It probably does on GIS if you do does it? When you do the full report,
Let me see if I can, yeah.
I could have.
Maybe I
tried to
can
do
do
that,
that.
sorry.
I mean, I took some pictures of it, but it's hard to tell because there's no,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's not very big. And not,
Well, I drove out there and looked at it because I
Okay.
couldn't tell by looking at the map anything. So I personally went out there and looked at it to see what was there. And you own the 4 lots adjacent to that.
Oh, yeah, I own the 4.
And I don't see any whatsoever. I'm just curious. Are you going to build you a house up there?
Beg pardon?
Are you going to build you a house
No,
up
we're
there?
just gonna look at the birds. And no, I mean, we bought originally to also prevent any building of metal sheds or whatever. Rather than-
Is it a city easement? Is that how it's?
No, it actually is city property.
Okay, so we
It's
don't
not an
need it
easement.
held for anything. That's not what we're concerned with.
Yes.
It wouldn't be our easement anyway.
7,130 square feet.
How much?
7,130 square feet. The county value was $4,500 basically,
What year?
2021.
Okay.
$4,490. So I put an extra tenner on there for you. Yeah, it's fully owned by the city, fee simple, so it's not an easement. Nobody can drive on it or anything.
I think it should stay that way.
So what one?
City property. I feel very, very strongly about it.
I agree.
The where we've sold these before, usually like when a driveway goes through an existing driveway or something like that, that's kind of been the precedent for us selling it.
There's some really weird lots in some of these.
Yeah, there's some weird property lines and stuff that's going on out there, but or like the corner of the house is on city property, so we've sold that before. But yeah, I'm kind of the same opinion that I just rather not make an offer to sell it, but that's just me.
Who maintains that property? Who mows it?
I mean,
Who has been mowing it? Any idea?
well, it's, I guess under contract with the previous owners, and they mowed the whole thing, not knowing that this
Was there?
was it, part of it.
That was my concern. If that's our property, we should be mowing it. We're not going to remove the snow on it, but we might go make a snowman or two out of it in the wintertime.
So you guys don't think $7,000 is worth
How
having?
much?
It's 7,000 square
7,000.
feet, not
Huh?
the city. The
7,130 square feet.
Yeah, I know.
it's 4,500 for the county value.
What do we?
Well, we've sold for $1 a square foot like 10 years ago, but that's I don't know.
because there was a lot of little pieces of land out there, and so they sold off quite a bit of that because it was more than what the guys could manage. I don't know. Not that they
7,000.
probably went through
There's a
that.
whole lot of ground out there that we don't know.
Yeah,
It just
that's
grows
very
wild.
true. Or the people next to it mow it.
Yep.
Frequently.
That's
I think that'd come to an end.
innocent.
If Mr. Patrick doesn't buy it, he probably won't mow it. Then we're gonna have to do it. So we gotta keep that in mind as well.
Well, we don't mow the north side. So,
The north side of the lake, between the dam
well,
and
we
East
mow
Bridge.
around the camping areas, but we don't mow. I mean, we lease it out to be hayed.
I think that's a little
This
different
isn't
story. We're not gonna lease
gonna
this 7,130 square foot.
Correct. We are not.
So
There
I hate
ain't
to say
enough
it,
there
but
to
that's,
even
that's
try
not,
to
to me,
lease
that's a
out
bad
the hay.
example of talking about the north that we're getting.
I'm just making a point. We don't mow and maintain all of our areas and our wildlife and park area so that we're not being forced to maintain this either, is what I'm stating. If
Well,
we choose not to.
I don't want it to get overgrown with trees and shrubs and stuff like that, but we've not sold a triangle like this or odd little piece that I have come back a month later, a year later, 3 years later and thought, boy, I sure am glad we got rid of that piece of ground. Not once.
What's the objection to selling it if it? I don't know.
Should stay in the city's name.
you-
No, I can understand what their objective is. I mean, you know,
Yeah, I
it
agree.
makes sense. I mean,
I mean, I guess I don't understand. Why would we need it or
Yeah,
use
that's
it?
my question.
Yeah.
too. What are we gonna do with it?
okay, I can see.
Do we need it for easement? I mean, if obviously if we need this for something, I guess I don't know enough about what we need space for to say why we would use it.
Why do we have it in the first place? Maybe that's the question.
Why do we have it in the first place? Why do we have little pieces here and there that's not associated with the lake, like lakefront? I mean,
Well, we had a lot more until we sold it off. So
so should we be keeping it for something in particular? Because if it's just to keep it, I feel like that's
The reason that those little pieces are there is when they divided up the south side, and you should know this, Brett, when they divided up the south side, there were different roads and drives and stuff put in, and so there was triangles of land. And the city didn't maintain it, so the people were forced to maintain it because otherwise they would have weeds and things like that. Just like they're more or less take care of their easements going to the lake. If they want to have a nice looking area. So it was sitting there, they weren't always being maintained by the city. This is just city history, I'm telling you. They weren't being maintained by the city, and so that was just a way to get it to somebody that owned it, that was gonna maintain it.
The deed book and
Money in
page
the
is
general fund.
M11-154. That's, I have no idea, but that sounds like a very old. So it's likely when they platted it, original plat,
so it's the outer edge by
there-
the road.
if you didn't sell the lot, the underlying property still probably belongs to the city.
Our edge is.
Just because you guys, the city owned the ground under it, the whole thing, and then you platted it up, sold off everything else.
Nobody wanted to buy the triangle
Yeah,
back then.
no, basically nobody wanted that one.
Yeah.
So
It's not even a.
And the 4 lots were probably sold individually at one time.
87 swipes.
sure.
This
And then
is
over time,
the lot I live
they
on
sold
the-
to one
I
person.
mean, mine's a weird
Give them
shape,
4.
so why would I know?
Makes sense.
But this guy owns all 4 of those.
Right.
And at this time,
For the
he's not
next
putting a
15
house
Or
on
if
it.
he wants to put a gazebo on it, that's shooting ourselves in the foot.
Why?
Because he'd have to pay for a structure fee
Not
I
from
can
us.
hear your
if
discussion.
we owned it.
Well, the structure fee is what, $150, and then so you know that exists for 50 years. That's 7,500 is my math right? I don't know, but so it would take about that long to even get close to what
Well,
that
that's-
person would pay for.
Well, that's what we have now. We've already talked about increases and setting out.
Even
roadmap
still, it will take
for
a really long
potential
time to
more.
make up that difference, which that's,
Yeah.
the dollars is not my incentive.
Okay.
I was just making a point, but
Yeah.
The dollars is not my incentive. If it was for the dollars, then sure, I'd want to sell it for the top dollar we can get out of it, but that's not.
And another
my
procedural point, just what everybody's thinking is fine, but in order to actually do the transaction would require, actual deed and everything like that. So anything, but you can't necessarily contract to do that tonight in any case.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking you could probably determine whether you wanted to continue discussions for the sale, but I don't want anybody to get the idea that you're gonna.
We could come up with a basic offer price and a structure if we chose.
Yeah, and then that would require that there be documentation of that in any case. Because you can't sell property without writing.
I don't know. I just be not unsure of what it's actually worth. So that's, I know what we sold property for 10 years ago, but
Yeah, but the county was $44.90.
I'm
So
gonna say that's pretty low. But that's
it might be pretty low, but maybe we need to decide collectively whether we're going to sell it or not, and hold off on the price pending blah 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 blah. The newest appraisal. When was that appraisal done, Todd? I know you said 2021.
Well, I don't know when it's the same number as 2020, so I don't know when the last time the county had done anything.
Is there any further discussion?
How about I move to table this to next meeting, pending more information.
I hear a motion to delay it to the next meeting.
What information are we trying to get? I guess that's probably more of a discussion item after second. But
I mean, she's shown me pictures.
that'll be
And
the question I asked.
sorry, I'm curious. She showed me some pictures, and it's actually on that back road. I didn't realize. So I'd be curious. Do you need to leave space? Maybe I'm incorrect for. I don't know, utility line type space here in the back, not the whole piece would be sold.
No, it would still have an easement.
Okay.
I would.
Okay,
Well,
never mind. Just kidding.
Actually, that's probably a good
That's why I'm just
Yeah.
curious because I don't know what
if there's utilities, and it might be
Because
a
it's the
Utility
road,
line.
there might be,
sidewalk even.
you might have put utility, well, the sidewalk couldn't be on that property.
We might not have worried about an easement because it would have been on ourselves. And
Yeah,
I think that's what you're saying. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like after the fact, we draw up an easement that says, hey, we're here. We still need an
and you
easement
really can't,
if we're there. But
you would need to formalize the easement because you didn't before.
Yeah.
So there's gotta be a little bit of title work done here is kind of the answer.
Okay.
And maybe photographs and look at the valuation in depth a little bit, maybe.
So
But you do all that if
okay.
Well,
you're
I
not
think,
gonna sell it.
yeah, well, I don't know, but yeah. I mean, it's a chicken and the egg question. I don't think I want you guys to you don't want to answer that question until you know what you're dealing with. And I think it's a fair question because you guys, this is probably not the only one that you guys want out there. So it's maybe a good time to think about what the policies would be or what you look at when you want to do this. Because, people are watching.
That they are.
Maybe there's some
Yeah.
places that would, I don't know if we can look
Yeah,
it up here, but
Yeah, I know if we sell this, then everybody's going to ask. And that's because there is a lot of these situations out there. That's
I move to not entertain selling at this point.
I'll second it.
We haven't finished with the first motion. We got to do that first.
nobody seconded it, doesn't
It
it
can
just
die
die?
for lack of a second.
well, I kind of interrupted that.
No, you're
I
fine.
apologize. So
Nobody's gonna second it, that's fine.
All right.
city of Esplanade.
Okay, there was not a second on your motion, so that motion's failed.
Okay.
Brett, repeat your motion, please, for the record.
I move to not entertain selling of property, city property at the lake at this time.
And I second that motion.
We have a motion to not sell at this time and a second motion. Any discussion on this?
I will say, I do think, I'm not wanting to sell at this time, but I still think we should have all that information that Todd was talking about. I'm just moving on to.
Quick search shows you have seven properties around the lake that are probably similar.
And that's just documented.
Yeah.
Right? Could there be other things out there that we're unaware of besides that
Well,
seven?
that's, I just put in City of Eskridge in the GIS search at the lake, and that's what I came.
Like land
That's
that's not
just-
necessarily platted.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I'm skipping a couple here, but that's just eyeballing it, so. Could be
I
eight.
still motion second, but I just wanted to clarify, because I wanted to know that information.
Any further discussion? All in favor of not selling at this time? Those opposed? Motion to not sell passes 3-2. Mr. Patrick, that doesn't mean that it won't be considered in the future, okay?
Okay.
Okay, now we're ready for the bait shop contract.
Todd, do we need a motion to accept this or what? Or how do we proceed from here?
I'll move to accept the new Lake Monthly City Park Permit Office Bait Shop Operator contract.
I will second all of that.
Motion to approve and a motion to second it, and I have one question.
I do too.
And my question is, have you all read it to where you know the difference in what it was from a workshop to what it is now? You know the changes that were made on it, you're aware of that?
Exact changes, but I did read it. I had a question.
Captured everything we talked about. Oh, sorry.
I had a question on, I believe, at least last year, and I think all previous years, we pay the credit card fees
Mhm.
or reimburse them back to
Right,
that person. And I didn't notice that wording was in here in any fashion, so I
we
didn't know.
we
if
took it
that's-
out because Astra is gonna take care of all that for us.
Actually, I mean, Astra's, they're still gonna hook their bank account up to it. So it's still gonna be withdrawn from their bank account, so it would be a necessary thing.
The convenience fee?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get those answers from Astra when they come in and train us on that. That's always been a question we've had. We're not gonna reimburse credit card transactions when they're selling beer and snacks. The only thing they're gonna get a credit card convenience fee charged is when they're buying something that comes to the city. All the permits that we have out there, fishing licenses, things of this nature.
Are we not reimbursing that credit card?
It comes off through Astra. We'll have to pay that ourselves through Astra. Astra would charge it to us, will they not?
No, and that's what I clarified previously, was that it does only work with one bank account at a time. So that bait shop owner would probably be the bank account that would be attached to Astra during the season. So all credit card fees would come out of one bank account. So we would need to reimburse at least the permit and I don't know what all city, but
So I think we need to talk about that, and I had that brought up for Astra and about which bank account we would use because I don't know.
so
I feel like we
guess
need to clarify because
So
I guess I would think we would use the city bank account information rather than Astra's.
okay, and that's if the shop is not included in that. I guess I thought it would just simplify everything for everyone, but if you guys want to keep it, that would be the way to do it, is to just only do your permits and campgrounds through Astra. And then they would need their own software. And if you guys already do Square, I mean, I guess they can set it up that way.
I could be wrong on that too, but I understood it to be that if they had a permit sold at the same time they were selling a case of beer, for example,
Mhm.
that Astra would know that that permit was us And it would separate the convenience stores.
We can separate all the bookkeeping out, but it's processed through one
They
bank.
So
charge
that-
you
that leads
for
me to the-
multiple bank accounts. I clarified.
Yeah,
with them,
I
and that
understand,
was,
understand. But to clarify the matter, if they didn't sell the permits separately, then there's going to be a charge to us for the permit of the sales. If they ring up the beer separately, there would not be a credit card charge to the city for that. It'd be the bait shops. Okay, so that's what we've got to figure out, how to get that separated out of there when Astra comes in. There's got to be a way to do that, because I don't want the bait shop to be making 2 transactions just because we don't want to pay the bait shop
What'd they
$350 for their.
say for the cost? Sorry, what did
Yeah.
you say for the cost of 2 bank accounts?
So I should have emailed that to everybody. Sorry.
You're fine.
Because I kind of had it in my head, I guess that maybe it would be 2 separate transactions. So what is their name again?
Anita?
No, the
Thank
people, Doug.
Have a good night.
Doug or Chris.
Mr. Patrick, thanks for coming.
Okay. So I was back and forth with them asking some of these questions. They came back and said there's a couple options and pros and cons of each. They said you can keep the current contract as is for sign on with another contract for a second completely separate system, but that would be $99 per month. And we'll provide a couple partners for you to set up credit cards with. So basically, the bait shop people would have their stuff through Astra, and we would have our stuff through Astra. They said the pros of that, everything is completely separate, including revenue, cash, credit card payments, and booking sites. This is a pro, of course, if this would work for you. On your website, you can place 2 booking links and state to sign up for camping, click here, sign up for permits, and point of sales items, sign up here. Cons, if you need anything in one system, this is not ideal. If you need to attach the permits to the same database where perhaps a customer needs both a campsite and a permit, this is not ideal. And then change the current you would have to change the current contract from Model A to Model B, which is the $99 per month, and sign up with 1 or 2 credit card processing partners.
With the 99.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's the second option. Sorry. So you change that. Okay. Oh, that confuses me. Sign up with one of our 2 credit card processing partners and request 2 merchant accounts, one for camping office and the other for the bait shop permit. But it's still $99 a month.
Plus still $3.50 per transaction.
I think so.
That's
That'll
Model
make
B.
them money.
They didn't give me Model B as an option originally because we are just one entity, so they didn't even present that as an option in the first.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess.
So do we keep track ourselves? Do we keep track ourselves of the permits that are sold at the same time point of sale stuff is being sold? So it's going to come out one charge for $350, but some of that is bait shop's responsibility. So are we going to? I can see paying them, reimbursing them for some credit card fee, but not the entire $350 or whatever the fee is. It's not going to be $350 a transaction.
2.5%.
2.5%.
Per transaction.
So it's either we separate it and they pay the entire 2.5%, and we take care of everything on credit card through it goes to Astra, or we come up with some kind of agreement with the bait shop owner that maybe we split that cost when they have more than one sale, and we'll be able to track that on Astra. We'll track everything they do on Astra.
It sounds like we're gonna have to go with the second option, because if you go into the bait shop and all you want to do is buy a few fishing licenses, that's our fee, but that's have to go through Astra with the first option.
According to our contract that we've written up, it has to go through Astra. Very first line on the contract.
Right, I saw that.
All reservations and permits are accessed through Astra Services, no exceptions.
Then that means people can't come in here and buy a boat permit from us.
Well,
No,
I
you
could
can
have
get
the
on
same
that.
Has Astra
I have
access,
software
that's
here.
part of the, it's not the access, it's the bank account, that's
Right.
can't be
so
separate.
now we got, whoever's quick with math, tell me what figure does it take that would equal 2.5% and come out to $100? Question answered. $100 cost you $2.50. So how many times 100? 4,000?
I think so. I don't know.
4,000 sounds about right. 2.5 would be 10. So that'd be 100. So are we going to do $4,000 worth of sale out at the bait shop? Think about that. Are we
We don't
going to do 4,000? You know what? We don't know. You know how we don't. You know how we know we don't know? Because we've got no records for the last 5 years of how much money that bait shop's making. All we know is what they're giving us for fees. Astra's going to correct that this year. We'll know exactly what that bait shop brought through there. So when I hear a resident who would been interested in doing the bait shop tell me that they're not making enough money to run that bait shop, I have to agree based on the records, because we have no records that shows what they make. I personally think a person can make a ton of money at that bait shop. And that's me personally. So,
No.
But
So
I'm
to
just saying-
clarify, if you
Yeah.
want that information, we have to reimburse them for the credit card fees.
And then it probably
But
has to be.
we do not have to do any kind of receipt tracking. It's all in the system, organized for her to easily access, and they can actually transfer the payment over Astra to our bank account without having access to our bank account, like a payment online. So it does simplify, but it does still mean that we pay credit card fees. And that's why I tried to talk about last meeting. I apologize if I didn't get that across correctly. But we cannot have the two bank accounts unless we pay an additional, and then we don't have access to both anymore because I don't know how many users
Correct.
they allow.
Correct.
But in this case, we have 3 licenses. And just to clarify that, if I pay a yearly fee to Microsoft Office and I get 3 licenses, that means I can share a license legally with you, and you guys can all have Microsoft Office without having access to my Microsoft Office.
right.
In
And vice
this
versa.
case, they do have access to each other's data, but Stephanie can actually block out city data. Like she would have the administrative access keys to lock out things for other people. So yeah, it's in the best interest to have one system, but you are going to have to include the credit card fees then.
At
I
some
apologize
point,
if that's,
You got to figure that out.
Yeah.
How
but they
that's
are
gonna
also
work.
going to have to reimburse us for the fees, the permit and camping fees will have to be transferred to the city. But it does simplify the entire process, and we don't have to rely on faulty paperwork or anything that's getting lost. It'll
Which
be,
would all be under their account.
It seems to me that if the bait house operator makes a transaction and they only sell, okay, if they're selling a city product and a bait house product, then we reimburse them for half of the fee. If they're only selling a city product, then they don't get reimbursed. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, and along that same line,
Is it they're selling a non-city product, you don't.
right.
And if they're selling, there's 3 options there: non-city, non-refund. Both split the refund. All city, we pay the whole refund.
that does make
But
sense.
if it's our, okay, maybe I.
And
get
I
what
don't want to
you're
split
No,
hairs.
That
where-
wasn't an issue previously because everything was in its own system. So yes, you were right. That
Okay.
is something we didn't think about and didn't process until this.
So the,
Moment, I guess.
in the
The-
language of the convenience fee is refunded on purchases for city products, permits, licenses.
Yeah, and that's what my proposal is as well, that you guys decide on.
Okay.
But I don't think we should be paying for their share of the products they're selling on the
No,
side.
absolutely, you're
And
correct.
so my next question, right quick, if I may, who can tell me what the amount of credit card fees was paid in 2021? I wasn't here at the meeting, but I think it was a little over $900.
It was, yeah.
$900 and some dollars. So did we do the math? Was it $4,000? Was 100? So 40,000 would be 1,000, correct? 2.5%. That sound right?
Yeah, no.
So we would have to do $40,000 worth of city business at the lake to pay $900 if we didn't have Astra. We didn't have Astra. If they sold $40,000 worth of stuff for us,
Yeah.
then we would pay 2.5% of that in credit card fees, which would be $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'll revert back to the question: how much money did we make selling permits at the lake over the last
About that.
past year
Was it
or the
50?
last 5 years even?
It wasn't quite 50, I don't think.
I
I mean,
know-
I have all that.
But, okay.
I printed off all those.
Yeah,
exhibits.
you gave me a
Okay.
printout. You gave me a printout on it.
Tell us the majority is credit cards then? Is that's how people are paying for permits? I don't know. I mean, I guess.
But
that's
one thing I was gonna throw out there, Terry, is to keep in mind, we paid $900 in reimbursements,
right.
but some of those reimbursements, the city didn't sell anything. If somebody went in there and bought a case of beer,
No.
that wasn't the
Nope,
case.
it was just city sales. It was
We
just off
we
our sales.
never.
It's good.
When
I'm
they
glad
pull
to
that
know
up on Square, it's the report for just our stuff.
Okay.
Or not, yeah, whatever the.
Well, to
Yes,
my
what-
knowledge, we don't have any record of what they're selling out there.
For their stuff, no.
Right. So
But
we will next.
off of city sales, it was a report that was credit card sales for city sales, and that's what we reimbursed. 2.5% just off of city permits.
Get to the chase, you guys have got an approval. Can you do amend it to conditional upon addition to the contract of reimbursement of contractor for sales of city permits and goods?
actually, I was looking at the
Yes,
contract.
I
and
so
see-
add that. I so
I
add.
can
was
say
lost.
it again if you'd like.
I
Can
don't
I-
know what
okay.
you said.
Let's rewind. Can we amend the motion to add in that the city would reimburse credit card fees on city items like permits, camping,
Yeah, that's.
If
that's
they
what
were
we
so
do.
charged.
if they're so charged?
So if they're not charged, then.
Right.
never happens.
Yeah, so what we're saying is that you guys you've moved to approve the contract.
As
You
written.
seconded, but
We don't
with
have
the
to-
additional language.
Well, we're in the discussion phase right now, right?
Yeah, but well,
Motion to approve the contract as written, and now somebody wants to amend the proposal to include the language. Is that
He's
what I'm
amending
hearing?
his own motion.
yeah,
Pardon me?
you're gonna-
He's amending his own motion, I think.
yeah.
I thought Annie was
No,
making
she
it.
was clarifying it.
No, I was amending the motion,
Okay.
just to clarify that. I do actually know what I'm doing at this point.
Well,
I
I don't
researched
think
it
you can
myself.
do
What I'm saying is,
I was gonna
amending-
thank
you're
you
not
for
you
that.
amending-
can't, but you can't
You're not
amend.
amending his motion.
You can't amend
He's
his
amending
I'm
motion.
amending my motion to what?
Fine, amend your own motion.
What you said.
What I said, but Brett says. Just kidding. I don't want to mess that up.
Okay.
Sorry. You can do it the right way.
And
Okay.
you agree with the
And I
second?
will second the amended motion.
Okay. So now we're talking about the amended motion. We have a motion to amend it and a second to amend it. Now we're talking, is there any discussion? Because that's what should have taken place before we talked about the discussion, but we already know what the discussion is, and that is to add the wording.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where we're at. Anybody have anything further they want to say about the motion to amend the motion? I know it sounds crazy.
Well, it's
So
not,
you
it's
just
not
wrote on the original
Well,
motion.
yeah,
now
it's not a
because you have
motion
to
to
difference
amend
between the
the
two.
motion. He amended it, he agreed, so now the motion is what they amended it to.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yes.
And we're gonna put that where in the contract.
That's a bullet point, isn't it?
Yes, it has to be.
I'm writing that one down.
There you go.
Hold on. Okay, sorry. Well, actually, Tim, you pointed out something to me. What was it on this? I
Oh, yeah,
did
there's
not
just a
retype
typographical
it.
error. There's
Okay.
two of those things go this way and the third one goes the wrong way.
Oh, a parentheses.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, it was 3 in the morning when I was putting this together.
3 in the morning.
No, I don't
What'd you
know
call
about
him,
that.
Tim?
Okay.
The sideways smile.
Oh, you're talking about the 7 p.m. That one there?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you make an
I'll have to-
motion to amend.
Yeah,
the
that's okay.
contract
I'll have to
after
tell
this,
you
or-
what my new job is.
I don't know
I
what's
got it.
happening anymore.
If we
Just
pass one
Check.
Okay.
lost. I thought I could amend his motion.
Perfect.
Just to put the
Okay.
credit card thing back, or is that? Is that what you amended the motion?
That's what he just said.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody's
I was
gonna
gonna let
leave.
you finish.
I'm here now.
I didn't know where we were going.
I don't
Now,
know. where I'm
uh,
going.
I
get the
wasn't
wording
sure if you
correct.
understood. Usually I'm lost,
Okay.
so.
Got it.
So now the guys were, hey, guys.
I got it.
Stay with me here.
It's not like a race, like a racehorse.
Me too, but stay with me right quick. So where on the contract are we putting that wording?
I would say with the reimbursement for the,
Under consideration of
Utilities.
operator services? I think that's where it
Sounds
goes.
like an appropriate location.
All right, I think it should be added in that sentence where it says, the very last sentence in that paragraph, for consideration of operator services. In addition to the above, the city of Bastrop will pay the cost of the telephone service, internet service, and utilities to the permit office bait shop. And then we can add credit card fees. The city will pay their share of the credit card fees when? At the end of the contract?
Typically, that's how
At
it
the end
is.
of the season, yes.
Okay, so let's put that in writing, and we can still vote on that to approve the amended meeting, the amended motion to the motion to approve. I know it sounds crazy, but you gotta stay on task with that or we'll all be confused. Not just Annie.
hey, I was on it for a minute.
Okay.
I thought I could amend your motion.
I
That's the only
appreciate you
mistake
being on
I-
track.
You know, don't feel bad because I thought anybody could make an amendment to a motion. That's what I thought too.
I thought also, apparently.
And he threw a wrench in it.
Who said that?
Everything.
Luckman, get out of here.
All right, so we'll get that amended. And so now that's, we didn't vote on that, so we gotta vote. Are we gonna change it?
For the love of God, let's vote.
Sorry, yes.
Were you playing Farmville over there or what? Okay.
No.
I am not a game.
It's approved 5-0 to add,
Jeez.
add the wording.
Woohoo.
Now,
Fix
let
it
me,
for
let me see,
Prince's sake.
let me see if I'm correct on this. So the motion to amend the motion was approved. Do we go back to the original motion now?
No.
So it's done.
No.
Don't think it's a
That
big deal.
That was
motion
it.
was approve the contract with the change, the language you just given.
Okay,
No doubt.
So you're done.
okay.
So the contract is approved.
All right,
Contract is
now-
ready.
Now, once that gets corrected in the book, we can go, which would be done tomorrow,
Mhm.
please.
Well,
And then we need to make arrangements to have a,
I won't be here.
okay.
I'll be here at 3:00.
Leave Peanut a note. Well, that's okay. You can do it at 3.
Okay.
Amongst your other stuff you're missing out on.
Yep.
Anyway, so anyway, she'll get this done when she comes to work tomorrow. And we need to set up a work session for interviews.
How early do we have to alert the public of a work session?
It's like any other special meeting. It's 3 days.
Okay.
Today's Monday.
Well, I'm game to see if we can interview 3 days from now. We can start the bidding there whenever anybody else is available. Sorry if I'm still in the thunder, Terry.
No, you're not. No, not at all. But I can't make motions. You guys have to do that. So you're wanting to do this 3 days from now. So that'd be Thursday night.
I think we need to get people in here to interview and figure out who's gonna run it.
How many applicants do we have?
Now 2.
And we're sure that there's 2, or is there only 1?
No, that I called today and there was a third one that put in. And
I don't know. Did someone withdraw?
yes.
Oh.
I'm
You
thinking
sent the
there's 2
letter to
withdrawals.
everybody.
That person withdrew.
So I'm
but
There were
thinking there's
three.
only
There were 3 then.
he's
right, and I'm pretty sure that we're down to 1.
so he's saying that
So, and who do you think's withdrawn? We had 3. Who do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm talking personal conversations. I'm not saying that, but we could be down to 1, so this could be a moot point.
We could be. We could be down to 1. That's true.
no one has.
I only know of 3 people that applied. 2 of them wrote a proposal in writing and submitted them, and one of them verbally said that they wanted to do it.
Well, we have 3. Oh, well, yeah.
No,
Yes.
yeah.
And the
They
third
withdrew.
person that I'm aware of that came in after the other 2 showed up, sent us a letter, and you guys all got a copy of that letter,
Mhm.
and withdrawing that person's intent to propose. So that would put us down to 2. That's why I asked who the 3 were. I mean, I don't think it's a private information that we know who the 3 people were that put in forward. Is it, Todd? Can we not discuss that at this moment?
I mean, they're independent contractors, not really employees. They're potential.
potential. And so, yeah, I know Wyatt and Becky, and the other person that put in a verbal request was Deb Ponton. And we got the letter today that she's withdrawing her request to put in a proposal. So that
I'll
puts
move
us
to
down
meet
to
on
two.
Thursday
Do
to
what?
interview the candidate.
Okay, well, let me just say this, that we have a motion on the floor to have a special meeting on, or not a special, I guess it would be a special, wouldn't it?
Special work session.
Special work session on Thursday, March 3rd. Is that
Is
correct?
it actionable or not?
I was gonna
mean,
say, is it
if you vote on it, then it's a meeting. If it's not, then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how can we interview these people and decide that they're gonna get the bait shop thing? It's gonna have to be at the next meeting because we can't make any of those decisions at the workshop.
No, you
Well,
can't,
if
you
declare
can't.
it a special meeting, you can't.
Oh, yeah, you guys didn't, you don't have an offer to make. I mean, you could make,
Well, yeah, you have to move to make an offer, I guess. I mean, you
so
can't.
you're saying at a work, decide and offer the contract in one swoop while you're there.
You could probably do that, couldn't you?
Well,
Well,
why don't you call it a special meeting instead of a work session? Call a special meeting, and you call a special meeting, the sole purpose is to interview candidates and approve a candidate to be the independent contractor and accept the contract. That's the only thing you can do. You can't, it's not just a work session where you can talk about anything. That's your only thing you can do, but it's a special meeting. So.
So I moved to have that then on Thursday, like Tim was wanting. Can I also add in it to have a work session on March 21st? To solidify that.
The March 21st would be a work session that's not related to this. And let's get the special meeting thing taken care of first. And then we'll
I can't
do the
group
other
them together. I can't group to have a thing on the whatever and the
Well,
work
I
session
mean,
on the 21st.
You can group them together, it's just that nobody, they can vote against it if they don't want to do it on the 21st. It's your motion, so yeah, you can.
Well, that's just when the EPA was gonna come out, so I thought, let's get that done, and if they don't want to do it, then, I mean, whatever, I'll do it one by
Makes
one.
sense to me,
Let's
yeah.
drag this out even longer. So, let's do the first one. I'll move to do it on Thursday.
Second.
This is for bait shop.
So the contract's approved. We know that. So now we're going to have a special meeting Thursday to interview the two applicants we have.
And perhaps offer them
And
Come out. This is legal to have a special meeting in 3 days, not a work session, but a meeting in 3
a
days.
special meeting is up to you guys.
Okay.
You have to have three vote in favor of
We have
it.
to announce it too, don't we?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
put it on
What if they
page,
can't?
please.
Yep.
Do what you can.
Okay, any further discussion?
No,
Okay.
I'm voting.
All right, so we got a motion to approve this on Thursday and a second. Any further discussion?
Question, did you say 7:00?
I didn't hear a time. Nobody said a time yet, did they? Pick a time.
7:00.
Good.
Okay,
Are
7
you
p.m.
guys able to go? Because my Thursday is taken up, so that's. I'm not opposed whatsoever to Thursday. I'm just saying.
Right,
Won't make
that you won't be here. Who,
And I'm
who,
out of town.
you're out of town, so 3 of you will be here.
I'll try. Apparently.
Pressure's on Annie.
Yes, it is.
Grandma better not. Or grandparent, how'd you word it earlier?
Surprise,
I
Grandma.
don't actually have anything
Yeah,
on
but-
Thursday, so thanks for solving that one, guys.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna have 3 family birthdays
This
this
is me and my
week. And
continual vote.
Okay, and we tentatively have enough council members here to get this taken care of Thursday. So, all in favor? And those opposed? Passes 4-1.
Now I move to have a work session on the 21st of March.
Very good. We got a motion to have a work session on the 21st of March.
At what time?
At 5:30.
Is that what time they're supposed to be here?
Do we have to declare it at 4 just because we'll all be in the same place and all that? Because walking around.
Question for you.
You're not gonna discuss city business, right?
We're discussing city buildings and grants, not city business per se. We'll be discussing that
You
at the
guys
5:30
tell me if you
meeting.
feel comfortable doing it for.
I've already told the people at the lake who have all gone that the public will be invited to go on that walk along with us. We've already told them that.
And that's at 4, right?
Yep, say 4 then.
But I'm sure the lake people don't care about
And-
walking around.
And I'm sure they won't, but if anything on this thing, if anybody watches us on YouTube, they're gonna see where we invited the public. I don't think we can turn around and say, oh, sorry, you guys can't come now.
None shall pass.
So if we make it available for the public, it's up to them if they want. Well, Peanut will be here because of the Cross Building. So we'll have it on the website that the public's invited, and it will start at 4:00 and may not end until 8:30 or 9.
So that goes against our 2-hour work sessions.
No, we don't have anything to 2 hours.
Except your promise that we were not going to
That was
do
my
two.
proposal that that was a proposal. I can make a proposal, but I can't make a motion to do it. You guys have to do that.
We just have to self-limit the day of. I mean, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it?
Yeah, because we're not going to go in there and talk to the EPA people at 4:00 and then at 5:30 have a special meeting and
Yeah.
be out here by 6.
I just won't work very hard at work that day, so I'll have energy.
What was the clarification on that? We had to include that 4:00 walk around with them, or we don't? Because if we don't, my motion is to not include it and include it at 5:30 to 7:30.
Maybe I don't know what's going on. What's at 4:00?
The KDHE and the EPA are gonna walk around with citizens, and council members that want to come to talk about buildings and grants and such. After we walk around for an hour, hour and a half, they were going to attend our work session at 5:30, which we moved up so that they could attend.
Okay, so the public is all going to be there. And you're not gonna take any action as a council
No,
during that time.
Between 4 and 5:30.
Okay, yeah.
it's informative about buildings and
Then I'm
grants
comfortable with
walking
the
around.
fact that that's not, the meeting time should be when you guys start the work session at 5:30 or whatever.
Okay,
But that doesn't exclude the public from
No,
hanging around with the
no.
walk session. Yeah.
I have a legal
Both
question.
of them.
At 4:00, let's say Brett and one other council person is the only person that can be there with the KDHE person. Or 3 of them. 3 council people are walking around. Is that an illegal meeting?
No.
Okay, good. I won't be one of those 3.
And that's okay. I mean, I'll be there, but I'm not voting anyway for anything. But
I just want to make sure that we weren't stepping on any legal toes.
I think the more city council members that can make it, the better informed we're going to be.
I plan on doing that.
You're going to be out of town, you said, right?
Not
Or
the 21st.
Not the 21st. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna be out of town.
This
Third.
Thursday. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
The motion on the table.
Yes.
Mhm.
Waiting on a second.
Second.
I think Tim may have seconded, but there's so much
Okay.
discussion afterwards.
Yeah. I forgot.
He seconded.
I third.
second.
This is the third seconded. Whatever.
So that is.
So we have a motion.
4:00.
No, the motion is 5:30, right?
Yes.
Five.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
The motion
It
is
was changed
Okay.
in process of being made.
It was amended.
It wasn't amended.
walk around the floor.
We're not going to do that again.
Got it.
all right. Those in favor, 5:30.
I'll buy it.
Okay, 5-0. All right, moving on.
That was easy.
Not really, but it's done. Next up's the mayor's conference. I'm looking for approval or probably just notification. I don't think I need approval, but on Friday, April 29th and Saturday, April 30th, there is a workshop or a mayor's conference, just put it that way. And if anybody wants to see what's on the agenda. The only thing I haven't called them. I'm gonna call them and see if there's a charge to attend this. So I want you to be aware that that's a possibility on April 29th. I will find out before anybody authorizes me to go or not go, if there's a charge and how much it is, okay? As far as I'm concerned, I would get paid my work session pay for that, and I'd be reimbursed for mileage.
So far, I'm very much in favor of this.
So do you want to just go ahead and approve me to do it?
I'll move to approve to send Terry to the mayor's conference.
And
I
here's-
shall second.
And
Pass that
pay
down to
his
whoever might
fee
have
for
a
that,
discussion.
plus a work session
Plus,
and mileage.
Did
We
Plus-
passed the work session.
plus,
We did not.
plus per diem.
Okay.
If I
You might want to see this.
If I buy something, I'll bring receipts. I'm not gonna go to Walmart while I'm in Manhattan and buy $200 worth of groceries and bring in receipt. This is what I ate at the conference, guys.
You better bring us
What
all
about
three pins
$1,500 worth of plumbing? Steaks for it.
out. Yes, thanks for
Oh, boy. Anyway, all right, so we have a motion to send me to the conference, and we have a second. We do have a motion, and we do have a second. Any discussion on that? Okay. All in favor of sending me to hell and back?
I'm crying.
All right, okay, 5-0. We're good. Okay, next thing is
It's
proclamation.
$175, by the way.
I'm sorry, what?
It's $175.
Oh, you looked it up?
Yeah, it's online.
Well, I'm glad I didn't look up first, or I would have withdrawn my.
At Wichita or where's?
It's
Full
in Manhattan.
conference, 175, 145
Denver.
Oh,
It's in Denver. Airfare is $1,000.
Oh, you're looking, I thought you were looking at mileage.
Denver's
Taking
not
a private
$1,000.
I'm taking a private jet.
It's in Kiev.
Okay. All right, next thing on the agenda is a proclamation. And
Give it to us.
I am the writer, author of this proclamation, by the way. Here's what it says. You have it in your packets, do you not?
Everybody, the mayor's
Yes.
giving proclamation.
Proclamation.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I told you I was gonna say proclamation, didn't I? It's proclamation. My 5-year-old grandson can say proclamation. I can't say that. Probably because I was raised in Louisiana in a different education
can.
system.
Seriously, they didn't do phonics at all.
No, that came about long after I was out of school.
Proctology, think about that. Proctologist.
I don't want to think about that. Okay,
Proclamation.
I'll read it for the audience's benefit. Okay. This is whereas the President of the United States in May of 22 by proclamation, whatever you want to call it, proclamation, authorized a commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, which is a 13-year program to honor and give thanks to a generation of proud Americans who saw our country through one of the most challenging missions beginning May 28, 2012 through November 25th, 2025, I should say, November 2025. Whereas by an act of the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and the 115th Congress assembled to amend Section 6D of Title IV United States Code to insert National Vietnam War Veterans Day, March 29th, after the third Monday in February. Whereas same said Congress approved the act on March 28th, 2017. Whereas the same Congress authorized a lapel pin to be presented to all Vietnam era veterans that served on active duty during the period November 1st, 1955 to May 15th, 1975, and signed into law by the President of the United States on March 29th, 27, and presented in a ceremony on the 29th of March each year through 2025. Whereas the city of Eskridge, Kansas recognizes and honors those that serve locally and from surrounding areas. Whereas the recognition ceremony will be held at Mission Valley High School on Tuesday, March 29th, 2022 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. to honor and present a lapel pin to each Vietnam era veteran. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Terrence W. Cook, Mayor of Eskridge, Kansas, do hereby proclaim March 29th, 2022 as Vietnam era Veterans Recognition Day in the city of Eskridge, Kansas. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the great to be affixed this 28th day of February in the year of our Lord 2023. and 22. Signed Terrence Cook, Mayor, City of Ipswich. That's the proclamation. And
Can we ratify it? What do we do?
I think you just made it under his own authority.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think you need to, you can want
You're
to
here.
approve it.
I wanted to say that. I felt it was.
Shall we toast?
Yeah, something.
they're trying to get me
Beat on this or something.
they're trying to get me to say proctologist. Okay, so that's a said deal. That's done. Okay, is there any other continuing council business? It says Astra on here. Tim, I think that was put on there for your benefit.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions here. Mostly, I'm hoping that maybe you either know the answer or can maybe round up an answer or just make one up. Okay.
Made up questions, answers.
I'll make them up. Let's go.
The first one is somebody is calling Astra and they want to book 3 different campsites on the same phone call. Sites 1, 2, and 3 for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is that one $3.50 fee or 3 $3.50 fees?
I think I'm gonna maybe answer you. Didn't you say that per transaction? So-
Yeah, but he's saying for 3 different campsites, so it may be individually each campsite that you book is a $3 fee. I don't know that one because that's
I don't
not-
expect you to know this. I
that's-
just want you to know what I'm thinking about.
Okay.
I think I sent these to
Why,
you too.
why would, I mean, I think you'd be able to make that.
I must not have this correct. Tim.
I
Yeah,
mean, it would be one
yeah,
transaction, but it's supposed to be like per
Right, text
booking
me?
fee.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
I
can
did
actually
I wrote
read
these
that.
down and
adjust,
and
you
sent
can
a
edit
picture
your,
to Terry,
like if
and
you
I
were
sent a
already
picture to
camping
you.
and you
Okay.
I'll
say,
just
I wanna
send
add
them
2
to you.
days, you don't pay the
Okay,
booking
yeah.
fee again. So he's saying for
I
3 different
changed
sites, it
on
may
my
be
old
one per
Okay.
site, so I got
number.
Well, anyway, I sent these.
And
to
I
you.
don't care.
If you guys want, I'd be happy to take a picture of this and text it to you. I will not be typing it on my phone. Okay.
He's a terrible typer. Oh,
Bam.
Go on.
You ready for me to go on with the second one?
Yeah, I got it.
When purchasing camping, fishing, and boating at the same call, is that one $3.50 fee?
$3.50 only applies to camping.
Oh,
Period.
well, so if I
Yeah.
use Astra to buy my boating permit, I
They
don't have
only
to
pay
pay.
the city fees and the credit card fee if you
I
process
did not
it.
know that. That is,
$3.50 is camping only. It's like a
wow.
like think of a transient tax or something.
Good. Yeah, so
From-
that's good to
Okay.
know. That clarifies my question too on that. But
And I think we've already answered this question. Can a fishing permit be sold without Astra? That's no, isn't it?
Right.
Would prefer it be processed through the system, I believe.
That way we're getting the stats.
But we're not paying the $3.50 fee, so my incentive is gone on that. Can we have them set the, oh, this is
Trying to
something,
work the system over there.
this is where I do want them to work the system. Can we have them set it to where you can only book your camping permit 3 months in advance? And we're only gonna want that for this 2022 season.
I'm
After
sure
that,
you can lock down how far out
Yeah, I
you
would
can
think you'd want to
book,
do that.
but are you gonna allow
Yeah.
people to book right now? Or
24, 25, 26.
you definitely don't want to go
27.
past a year, and I don't think we would ever go past a year.
No, I want to
Yeah.
change it 6 months after this season is up.
Okay.
you mean both?
Is there-
Yeah, 'cause
So,
everything's gonna
I don't-
You can only
I
book 3
don't-
months
Probably
out.
not
You
6
can't book.
months either.
So when you
We can decide that.
But, okay,
Just
what if I decide I want to go camping Friday night? I can't book it?
yeah, you
No,
can't.
what I'm
you
saying
just
is
can't
you
reserve the
can't
4th of
reserve
July
3.5 months
6 months.
Until
Oh.
3 months out.
because I don't want the first person in line to get all 3 hot weekends in the best spot that they want.
I see what you're saying.
I want
You're
them,
just on holiday
Be
weekend.
Fair, that's
They
what a
cannot
lot of
book.
campgrounds end up with, but I get it.
well, I do know that.
Yeah.
That anyway.
Mayor's leaving us.
And the last question.
Hey, you're on.
Buying
camera.
more than one license. I think I may have asked this.
Thank you, Donna.
Oh, no, that's an irrelevant question. You've already addressed that. It was about the $3.50 fee
You're hung up
for
on it.
fishing licenses. I was very hung up on
You're
that.
really.
I
It's
was
literally
very upset
camping
about
only. Don't worry about your fishing.
I
It's
did
not going
not
to change.
ever get that. I am so glad to know that.
Yeah.
That changes my attitude.
I did try to do this real slow last time, and you guys said, "No, we got it. We're sold." And I was like, "Are you sure?" Because I really would
I
like
was still
to go
over
through
here
it.
with like stars and stuff spinning around above my head. What?
This magical
Right.
cloud.
I guess
I actually put this on for myself, but I'm glad.
All right, Stephanie,
Very
Stephanie's
I didn't
got
do
stuff. I think we do need to. I don't know who would be in charge of this. Because Ted, maybe you know these things. I don't know how many campsites we have, and I don't know how many
I don't know.
boats.
They change
And
it
I
every
can
year.
talk to Mike. I don't know. I did not ask Mike.
You're ornery this evening.
But there's several things. So like the first question that I have, would you like to have a lock fee online? So it will allow you to charge your guests to secure a specific spot.
Is that like a non-refundable fee in addition to something? Because I'm kind of against that, but yet at the same time, I'm also
Kinda, sorta.
for collecting a deposit
I
and
got a few things I
holding
gotta
on to that.
say.
And I think we said, what was it, $10?
Okay, y'all.
Yeah.
Will fund, the lesser of $10
Yeah.
or how much the first night was or something like that.
Did they explain this to you?
How much we
any
teach?
more?
So I'm guessing like it would, I mean,
because
Are you saying so that if somebody wants to reserve site number 1 to guarantee they get site number 1?
there's
this
a,
is what the question is. I mean, will you be implementing online reservations? Yes, we will be. If yes, would you like to have a lock fee online? This will allow you to charge your guest to secure a specific spot. So basically, first of all, are we going to allow guests to put in a specific spot?
Absolutely.
I think so.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then if so, do you charge them a fee for that?
Okay, we need to answer a different question first. Do they pay up front when they book it, or do they pay when they arrive and they
Yeah.
check in? Because that needs to be answered. Because if they're paying up front, we don't need to charge an additional fee for their.
I don't think they
Right.
pay when they arrive. I thought
I
if
thought
they
they
want to
charged
reserve
online.
it, then they're paying
Actually,
the
you know what?
full
I just
deal
did-
right
I think
then.
I thought they did.
Reserveamerica.org last week, and they charged me immediately.
Okay.
And
So
that's-
it should be up
Yeah.
front. And if if we're charging up front,
Well, that
and they get
wasn't even a
specific
question,
site,
so I think they do.
I don't think we need an additional lock
Okay.
fee.
Yeah.
So if that's incorrect, we're not thinking about it right, then please clarify.
I just want your guys' direction because I'm not gonna.
Okay, here's
Sorry,
here's
not
my-
to speak for everybody. I didn't mean to speak.
I think that I'm
Okay.
agreeing with it. I do not want to charge them extra, but I want to make damn sure if somebody says, I want spot number 1 lakefront,
That
they're
they
getting,
get it.
they're not just
I'll talk to
getting
them about
a
that.
spot at the
Right.
lake, they're getting the one that they want.
Specific.
So no
Yeah.
charge, but
Usually-
specific spots.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question. This is for all you guys. Are you gonna allow them to have a wait?
A what? Waiting list?
Waiting list for what?
So if you had Camp 1 reserved and then to cancel, you
I don't-
call the first person on the waiting list.
I don't know if it's an option
That's
through
asking them to
Astrid.
do extra work to
it's-
contact person number 2.
Yeah. it's
No,
probably
if it
the
comes open, it
contract.
comes open. We try
Yeah.
to book it if somebody comes up.
Because I know in the
I don't
past
agree
they've
with
had
that.
waiting lists out
Yeah,
there.
that's only
Does
because of the
Astra
budget
have
system.
one that the bait shop doesn't even have to manage?
I don't want to work on the
Waiting
budget
list?
system.
Yeah, we just turn that function on or whatever. I don't know.
They do have an emailing system.
Okay, so then the
Good.
next thing, we're gonna do
I know they
the
would
park map,
automatically.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like you want the map online.
It does make a very nice little map. So you guys want a map?
Or do they do
put
it?
together?
I'm
Well,
sure
they'll
let
help
them
us
do it,
put it
but-
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can send them an update, I guess.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
don't know if I
That'd be
Otherwise,
cool,
I'll
especially
try
Take
to
a
figure it out.
satellite map and then just
I'll
kind
ask
of.
them. Yeah.
There's actually a map in the system when you're
We had
booking, and there's one that'll go on reserve, whatever
That'd
the.
be cool.
And I
I
think-
talk
Say
to
the wrong
Mike
website.
about a lot of this, I feel like, but.
While we're on this discussion, I will try again to see about getting more fire rings. In the meantime, though, when we make this map, I think it would be nice if you're going to help on this. I hope you will, because I can't do this kind of stuff. If anybody can say this site and this site and this site are ones that have fire rings on that map, that
I
might be
think
beneficial.
You can actually just do is take a picture.
I can ask
Okay.
them, yeah.
Oh, okay. And post it to
Mhm.
each, like you go.
Oh, is it one of those
site
they can just
number
drive
one's
by and take a
page.
picture of each site? And then they, oh,
Nice.
that's sweet.
I don't know how much
So-
extra work that is, but that's.
I'll talk to them about it and how
Okay.
that works. I'll try
That
to.
may be easier than.
I could go out there and take those pictures and send an email.
Because that's the other thing I'm
Whatever.
gonna need is, yeah, no, which we already said, number of RV sites and then tent sites.
I have a
Which-
question about that. We've talked about this before. It's of my opinion that there's too many tent sites and they're too close together.
the other thing I'm gonna need direction. You guys are gonna have to map out.
Yeah, so who needs to work this out? Because this
Yeah.
is an outside of meeting issue. It's too complicated to talk about right here.
Yeah.
We don't see it right now. So do we need to assign a small, like
Committee.
brief committee to then work all these things out? Because we do need this information pretty soon.
ASAP.
Well, yes, ASAP. I don't think Stephanie's equipped to like go out there and do all this work. And then if we want an opinion on it, I think this is the time to speak up.
What else has she got to do?
Get all
Run the show.
stuffies and throw them at you or something.
I gave her a heads up. I was going to say something.
Yeah.
I mean, something's gotta be done with it.
Is this is not something that we put in tonight and it's permanent and set in stone and we can't change it, right?
We do need the information
Yeah.
and we need someone to information gather. So that's the issue.
Volunteers.
Did you understand my statement?
We don't need to solve it tonight. No.
No,
But
that's
do
not
we-
my statement. My statement was, if
I'll
we,
gather information. Tell me exactly what you need and I'll gather.
my question is, if whenever we input the information, can we
Careful
change it
measure.
later? It's not set in stone and we can't ever change it.
I don't think so. But some of this probably needs to be known to even get started, like the bank account, which we can't do
Yeah.
until we have a contract.
We're not gonna change the bank account, that's for sure, but we could always, like Tim said, change the time frame for when they can apply. But this
Well,
time it's gonna
yeah,
be,
I mean, that's true, but we want a general census of like how many sites. I don't know, because if you're gonna open it up for booking or
Is
or
Saturday
April
gonna,
first.
sorry.
Sorry,
It's
guys.
quite a
Is
bit.
Saturday going to be too late for me to go out and take a picture of each one of the sites? Then I will,
You're gonna want measurements?
no. This is your site, picture, snap.
Yeah.
Would it
be helpful? Yeah.
Campers parking tent
I was
sites.
gonna say, I got the tape measure that we could probably do it. It's
Yeah.
not big enough.
It's not a huge deal with we don't actually have a driveway.
Mine.
The length doesn't matter.
did we not have trouble in the past with people pulling their vehicles down into the tent sites?
The problem is none of the sites have any kind of gravel or concrete pad at all. And then
There's
There's some that.
There's
some that
two
don't.
of,
sorry,
there's a
sorry.
few of the primitive sites that do have a gravel.
do they?
run
Well, I
to
guess
them,
yeah.
Where the shelter houses are and their house by one. Sometimes there's an outhouse over there in that other area.
I feel like that.
But
is the
we
stuff
do,
that
we
needs to
have
go
had
back.
people pulling their camper and a generator right down onto the,
Pines.
right down there by the water.
And are they blocking other tent sites?
I wouldn't say that they're blocking other side. I'd say the biggest offense that they commit is having a generator running all night long. And I don't have a big issue with them running a generator as long as they shut the darn thing off at 9 p.m. I think that's a rule that we should probably impose.
I thought we talked about that at the work session when we were trying to put this together. But we
That
didn't.
are those generators that are supposed to be super quiet. Because the traditional ones are, I understand that, but those,
Yeah.
I think those ones are pretty darn.
The super quiet ones, I think.
Like mine, it's not quiet.
tolerable.
But I haven't
have
seen
some
super
that are
quiet
quiet.
ones. I've seen the
Yeah,
loud
they're like
generators. Because I get multiple complaints every year
And they're
from
more
people
compact.
that have been.
Tell you what, when we were on that boat shop in the water for fish, that big old generator was whisper quiet.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable how much it put out and how quiet it was. Well, Saturday I'll go out and I'll take pictures of each one of the sites.
Perfect.
I'll even throw a picture of the bait house for some reason. 'Cause we'll just
Yeah,
take
I don't-
pictures of what we're
Do
doing.
you really want to be advertising the look of our bait house when it's half made, half not?
And there's all the trash in front of it that's been there for 6
About that.
months.
Okay. The account.
So don't feel bad if we don't use that.
So I'm not information gathering, just to clarify. Tim is.
He's
Well,
taking, no, he's
that-
taking pictures.
I'm getting that information.
I'll holler at you. We can go out if we need to. Maybe I'll go.
I felt like there was a lot more than just photos that were needed. Is that right?
I'll talk to Stephanie
Number of
after. Well,
sites.
if we need to come back, we'll do that. But I think we can do some recon and get it figured out. But we're saying the bank account thing is
Yeah.
an issue.
What were you gonna say, Justin?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I know we had the Ridge ones numbered, or Dave numbered the Ridge ones back in the day. Did the other ones that are electric, but they're not the new electrics?
I thought they all got numbered
Those have-
last year.
They did get numbered? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So we should have all that ready to go.
So yeah, the accounting information. This is the bait shop contract person's bank account and they make transfers to the city? I just want to be fully clear what's happening before I write anything.
I mean, I don't really want to give bank contractor access to the city's funds. If that
I
makes
agree.
sense. So I do think that should be separate if they're going to be accessing it. I don't know what you guys' opinion is, but I do know that the hang up for Stephanie is that we need that information in order to set it up.
But having them using their account and then they transfer the money to us
Yeah.
is essentially no different than the way we've been running it for
That's
years.
true. However, we don't have to do. I mean, were they bringing you paper receipts? Is that
Yes.
what- Yeah. She doesn't have to do that.
Provided that just because it's on their account, they understand fully well that they must submit the information to us.
And I'm assuming, I guess I should have asked them too, when in the back and forth, it's no problem to change the bank account information, say if contract is up in a year and someone
We
else.
do need to clarify that because
That's
if
what I
that's an
was
issue,
gonna
then I
ask.
think we need to open a bank account and just have that sitting for them essentially. But I don't know how that goes. I don't know if that would be an issue actually. Does that? I don't know because we wouldn't want to change it if we're not allowed to change it.
See,
But I
that's what
assume we
I
should be able
was-
to.
That's what I was gonna ask. Could you change the bank account if you had to?
I do think we'll need to call and ask that question.
I'm sure you could.
I mean,
Yeah, something happened midstream in your.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
you've
no
got to be
problem.
able to do that.
so assuming that we can, we are gonna say that it is in the, whoever gets the bait shop contract, it's in their bank account.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know, it matters what you call it. You call it the bait shop
Bait shop account.
and they're a signator on it for purposes of 1 year and maybe a city person as well. and
So is it
that's that.
better to open our own account? Is the
So
question.
then
Within the
Sure.
signature.
Well, I mean, you
Just have
just,
a bait shop account.
yeah, let them have signature access.
How does that work? I guess, like we transfer to them, then,
No. I mean, it's no different from them getting their own account for the business.
It's just
It's just that and that account transfers to the city.
Okay.
It's just that you set it
we have
up,
to make sure they only take.
so it's always gonna be the city's account and the contractor only has rights to deposit it and withdraw their stuff and do it. So they have access. to it.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have to have approval by a city council member for them to
No.
withdraw it back to their
No,
account?
no.
I'm having trouble figuring out why the city would need to own an account
Well,
like
they
that.
they don't need to own it.
Well,
I don't
know.
make it difficult. I'm just trying to say, it doesn't have to be named the, Fred Jones account. It can be,
It's like the bait shop receipts account, but I don't know, the way you're explaining it, I'm just thinking that it goes into that account as kind of a holding account, the city can sign and the bait shop operator can sign, and from there, it has to go into one place or the other. It just seems like an extra step. That's where I'm getting confused. I don't know.
well, I have no idea. All I'm saying is I didn't see a difference between that person having a bank account of their own that they had set up before this versus you guys setting it up and use it to deposit those funds. They have full control of it, just like they've created it themselves. It's just that at the end of the day, they don't get to take that account and do other business with it somewhere else.
It
And then you
stays
guys have-
locked to this.
yeah,
because
then you call it the Astra account. I don't know. But that's the idea, is just so you don't.
As long as they don't have the ability to withdraw funds out of the city's coffers, I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
that.
that's just
It
it.
would be a separate bank.
The only thing that they do is have full access to this, the Astra account.
And we'll have access to a lot of the transactions that are taking place inside.
So they use that account to pay for their
stuff.
beer and
See,
stuff
that's what
there.
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't think,
Store.
Because how does that? So then it would be a city account that was making transfers.
okay, well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting very confused on all this.
well, then you can't, I mean, that's the thing. You can't, maybe that's why the question is a good question to Astra, because I don't know how you do it without either a city owning it or that person owning it. And then there's no guarantee that person's going to be around next time to do the contract, and you've got to switch accounts. Or halfway through, if you have to terminate, what do you do?
Well, the downside of the city being on it is, you know, if we use this for pop and everything like that, beer, and I think that's kind of the direction it's going, then, you know, now we have a liability to pay the operator back for that. And I would just suggest that we make frequent payments to them to help out their cash flow. Because they're going to need that, not just once a month, you know, we pay them back because, you know, any operator is going to run into cash flow issues with that.
So if I understand you, all the sales that go through Astra's going out, and then we have to reimburse them for what belongs to them.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. You can do one or the other. You can do, if it's our account, then we're having to reimburse them for their stuff. If it's their account, then they're having to.
No, we're not saying it's coming out of our account. We're saying it's an operating account. So they're using it entirely
Yes.
for the business. So
There's
if they
no-
have to pay for their own soda, they need to put money into the account from their own personal accounts.
Yeah, there is
That's
no
what would
no
happen.
difference between it being in their business name and being in the cities in that respect.
But they can pay for soda out of it.
So then, yeah.
But okay, so their operating expense, say they got to stock the store to begin with, they need to take that money from their own account, whether they have an entity account or their own personal money, then transfer it into this account and then pay out of that account.
Okay.
It's just an operating fund. I have a separate account for my business, so I don't do the wrong transaction in the wrong place. That would be the same thing for them. Except for in this case, the city owns the account just so we don't have to change the information every single year. And then every time we change contractors, obviously we remove them as a signer. And if they do checks or debit, you guys would have to make sure that that's back in hand and they have no access to the account anymore.
There's a way to do, because I know all these talk about signature cards and everything lately. There's a way to do like,
And if you know better, yeah.
like, so you can physically take someone off even if they're opposed to it.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Like, I don't know if that exists.
So no checks,
think you
I
can do
guess, would be.
That'd be something you have to ask bank, but I think you can do a new signature.
Like you can be like a full control, and then somebody can be a signatory, but it's revocable at any time by the person with the ultimate authority, which
Yeah, and
or
I
city with the ultimate
like
authority.
if they refuse to give back a debit card, I would assume you could just go to the bank and they could close it
Yeah.
immediately.
Okay.
So that shouldn't be an issue that we run into. They would need
Kinda
to
like
not be
putting
able to
a
order
pin in the
checks
account.
then. That would have to be a thing. Because you don't want them walking off with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously it's gonna have some growing pains at first. I just want to throw that out there. It's gonna seem worse. And then once we get it adopted, it's gonna be a lot better. I know that's not something to hear or you want to hear at the beginning, and it would have been nice to get a crack at it earlier, but I'm not gonna. I mean, that's the way it happens.
I think there's gonna be a lot of bugs that's gonna
So
have to
then
get
we'll
worked out
have
the first year.
to, yeah, because you guys will have, I don't know, whenever you want to do it, you'll have to make a motion to do that. Correct?
So I guess the question is, do we want
I regret ever talking about this.
do we want the bait
But
shop
you
operator to have their own bank
Have the
account?
bait shop operator open up account in South America. That's fine.
Thank you, Todd.
Or do we want the city to
There you
open
swim.
the account?
No, let's just have them open the account because it's getting way too complicated.
Okay,
Thank you.
Work the bugs
So-
out as we go.
then y'all better hire somebody Wednesday so we can get the ball rolling. And we'll try to get the rest of this filled out. And whatever we don't get filled out, we'll need answers. Okay?
You said we need to hire somebody?
Yep.
Yeah, because I have that new bank account.
We need a bank account.
Thursday.
And Thursday, apparently. Apparently we need to be here.
Us.
I don't know anymore, Brett. This week. I wish we could stop putting stuff in it. That'd be great.
Can we put a fork in this subject for tonight?
I move to adjourn if we're
No,
done.
no, no.
Oh wait,
I have-
sorry.
I have one quick question.
Oh no, Tim.
Sally, this is gonna involve you.
We'd be outside.
Okay. Our goal, which has been our goal for about 2 years or so, or maybe longer.
5.
We need somebody to go around the shoreline of
Can
the
we do
lake
this another night?
to take pictures of everything.
I know that.
Are you willing to do that?
I am. But
Okay.
you know my situation right now.
I do. Which is, I don't need explanation. I just want to know if you're going to be able to do it. I have someone who wants to do that for the city also. And I told him I'm not going to step on your toes because I'm not going to give him hours that you deserve. It's your job. If you are not willing to go out there and put your face in front of those people because they know who you are.
Oh yeah, I mean that's not
This
the
guy,
issue.
they don't know who he is.
The issue right now is my only days I can work is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Because you all know about Ron, and right now until Bruce and Mary get somebody hired, I'm helping them out. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't get your trash picked up. As long as you guys will work with me, bear with me, I'm gonna try to start getting out there now that the weather's nice on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and of course Friday's gonna be kind of iffy. Depends on his doctor's appointments.
What boat are you going to use?
To be honest, I'm not gonna get on the lake. I'll do it foot because you stop every dock that I gotta measure, and I take a boat to go measure that dock. I've got to dock the boat, get off the boat, get off my stuff. It's just easier to walk the shoreline and do the measurements.
I see that. I still want a picture from the water to the because it looks completely different.
This guy is very big into kayaks, and he wants to do it all from the water side. I talked to him about that deal. I don't know if you guys know about there's a measuring app that is unbelievably accurate. You can put a dot here, put a dot at the other end. It'll tell you if this table is 8 foot 1 1/4 inches long. He can do that with the docks, see how, check the
I don't know why we're
length and
talking
width.
about that when we have an employee for it. So I'm confused.
Yeah, and who's doing it and is it free?
Because the reason we're talking about it is because Sally doesn't want to get out on the water and Brett wants pictures.
It's not I don't want to get out on the water. It's gonna be more time consuming.
Because you'll be doing 2 things for each dock. One on the lakeside, taking a picture, one on the ground.
I'm
side,
gonna be
taking
you're gonna be doubling the job.
I wanted to stress that I don't want to take hours away from you. And if you are able to do it, then fine, we have a person hired to do it. And it's not that you've ever let us down before. I just wanted to know if you didn't want all of those hours, if you didn't want to be the one that they see out there, I have somebody that will help you. But I'm leaving this in your hands. If you don't want the help, fine with me.
No,
really?
No, it's not that. I mean, I don't care. I mean, that's really your guys' decision, not mine.
But again, you haven't done us wrong. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to undermine your efforts. If you're going to keep going, then power to you. I'd love to have you do it.
Well, I'd like to be able to be out there more. I'm planning on it until all this crap come down.
How urgent are you wanting photos taken?
I've been asking for 5 years,
And
so
you-
if I could get a dozen places done in the next year, I guess I'd be happy. I know that's kind of a
Don't we-
smart aleck remark, but I mean, this is literally half of a decade that this has been trying to get done. So I mean, any at this point is better than what we have.
Right, I understand. And I've been reading a lot of code and a lot of ordinances, and I think I read somewhere where the owners are supposed to have their docks numbered so it's visible from the lake.
Both
Yeah.
sides.
Okay, so
And I came
in
across-
reading that, I think a photo from the lake would be proof positive that that's done. Not that you can't go up there and stick your head over the side and look. But does the numbers have to be a certain size so it can be visibly read without somebody pulling clear up
We
there?
left that vague. It had to be easily read. So if you got a brown dock, don't put a brown letter on it. Make it contrast and make it. I don't think we put a size on it. Can't remember.
I don't think we did either.
I don't think I remember
I
reading
mean, the
the
easy
size
read
on
is
it.
kind of
we tried to give them some,
Leeway.
But
Yeah.
another thing is, you gotta have a boat for me to go out on the lake.
That's why I asked if you're going out on your own boat or you're
I
going
don't
to
own
use
the
the city's
boat.
or the city's boat.
And I ain't swimming the lake.
That's okay.
and she doesn't have the authority, or does she have the authority to walk on their docks to measure them?
Yes, I do.
No, you do. City employees do.
Okay.
And our boat is broke down, correct, Stephanie?
I think so.
So
It's a
there's
light
not even a
question for
boat
sure,
except
but-
for an option for her or anybody else to be doing it. So we need to tackle that at another meeting, talk about getting the boat fixed or purchasing a new one or figuring something out as far as that goes.
And I have an issue with hiring somebody to run around in a kayak. I would think we might have some liability issues with that, wouldn't we? None?
Not if he's staying in the kayak and just
And
going.
more than a boat.
What's he gonna use for equipment? And where's the picture's gonna be downloaded at?
We haven't gotten that far in the conversation. I didn't know if it was worth going that far in the conversation.
I think Sally, I mean, I'm more than happy with what Sally's been doing.
Oh,
As
And
am I.
she's going to be putting hours in out there. So I mean, if she gets to where she's not gonna be able to do it, I trust that she'll come to us and then we can entertain Tim's second option at that point. But I'm sure that Sally's gonna be able to get it. I don't know. I'm
Ron wasn't the
confident that
reason
you're
that I
gonna
brought
be-
this up. It was because I know that you had mentioned one time before that you didn't want to be out there stepping on toes when they all know who you are and you're out there emptying their trash also, and you have to hear from them and all that. I was trying
Well-
to offer you a little bit of,
Hopefully by
Legal.
then, that's gonna change.
You'll be no trash lady then.
Well, we don't know.
or you just won't care what they think.
Oh, I don't care anymore. I don't. I mean, might be coming with the territory right now, but
That was my main incentive, is so that you didn't have to be out there traipsing in their backyards.
and that don't bother me any because most of everybody's. I've had only one person all the times I've been out there yell at me.
All right then.
I just have one general question. Do we have a copy already printed today that tells us what the park rules and regulations are?
No,
I-
it's up
Something's-
there, we have a
we have
trifold.
Something that I can read, something that the new bait shop owner can read or even have a copy of, because it says they have to abide by them. I'd like to know what's in them.
Something that each person who gets a boating permit, a fishing permit, or a camping permit gets handed to them. It's the trifold Stephanie just spoke of.
Don't they have that? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
So
they
you
got,
do
you
have
got,
that?
you got it.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, don't we have some out front, Stephanie?
Is there anything in those park rules that says there's a quiet time like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.?
Mm,
you're
I
talking
don't
about-
think so.
There is.
Is there?
Is there?
I feel like there is.
Yes.
And that would be in the park rules or regulations. It's already been approved by the
Unless
city
it's
council.
been changed or something.
There might be. I can't remember. I think so.
I'm pretty
There's
sure
that
that
one.
there is something between
I'm sure I'll eventually get to it at some point. reading these
dusk
things,
till
but
6 a.m. And we don't allow people to be out on the boats when people come and fish early either. Like when they get there at 5 a.m. Like
Yeah, there's
boats can't
certain
be-
times that the boats are
Okay.
allowed
Right.
out.
But that's a horse of a different color of what I'm talking about, and I can read it later on my time and not y'all's. So I just want to know if it was available where I can take it and read it.
I do have one comment. I don't know if anybody's been out to the lake recently, but John Taylor and LJ had burnt out the shoreline. So if you see them, I would just tell them thank you and tell them it was a good job, because they burned out a lot of the dead brush that was there around the dam and down by the swimming area, and they have plans to do more, and it looks really good and burn up a lot of trash as well. So if anybody sees them,
Cool.
tell them they're appreciated because it looks nice.
Was that LJ and John Taylor? John Taylor? LJ.
LJ Records, sorry.
Aw, yeah.
Okay.
Those are the two I spoke to. I don't know if they had any other help, but
Changes from last week.
Mayor
That's it.
concerns right quick. Start with you, Justin. Are you getting my text?
No.
Okay, then I must not have your number incorrect. So before you leave tonight, I'd like to get that, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Sure.
Michelle, you're not gonna be here Thursday night for our deal and interviews with the potential bait shop people. So with that in mind, we were all gonna ask each of the candidates 2 questions. So if you'll get me 2 questions that you want asked before you leave Thursday, or before that night anyway, I'd like to have that. And if you need my phone number, text it, that's fine, or you can give it to Stephanie and she'll make sure I get a copy of what you wanted asked. Just because you're not gonna be here doesn't mean your voice can't be heard in that respect, okay?
Okay.
And what's your name again, Annie?
Sally.
Okay. This is not, this has nothing to do with, what I want to ask you has nothing to do with city business, but it won't take but a second if I can ask you a question when we're done here.
Annie?
He's being
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your name, Annie? I was talking to you.
No, I know. I just thought maybe
You
we.
tried to pot it off on Sally.
5 hours are from 11 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
There you go. I knew it
5
was
p.m.?
7.
11 to 7.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
maybe
Shut it at 7.
my
Does
brain's
that,
telling
does
me
that
to go home
include
because I gotta be to work at
bands
5.
that play on around the lake till midnight and 1 in the morning?
No more skinny dipping out
I
there.
don't think this is.
I think 4th of July is like
Here.
a
Not me.
This isn't.
probably
this is
one that gets
Just last year.
slide by, but I don't know how many
That's
events
what
that
You're
happens.
gonna let it slide.
This is last year.
Closed on Wednesdays.
No.
On the 4th of
6 a.m.
July.
No, March 15th.
That's what your contract says.
That's what I'm just trying to verify.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I was asking.
Contract is confusing because it says March 15th and then a little bit later it says April 1st.
So then, yeah. So what should this be? Should this
Well,
be
I
it's
wanna-
the permit office is open March 15th to April 30th?
Change it to April 1st.
April 1st to
Of course, they're not gonna get one of those till April 1st, but
What are you, what are you changing where?
Don't they have something in the Astra thing that says like a message when they
I'm not
sign
gonna
up or
change
something?
this.
No,
With
that-
technically
this is
different
accurate.
rules.
No.
Where's
Change this to April 1st.
We can probably work on it.
I kind of thought
Yeah,
that's
I
why we were
think-
discussing it.
Back on Astor again?
Send them. Todd, what's your deal? Okay. I like my software.
I'm sorry?
I love software.
Are we changing this?
Well,
what was it? I couldn't hear you.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we had a motion to adjourn. We had a second, and there is no discussion on that. It's a vote. All in favor? All right, we're done.
Here.
Not in favor.
So. I have like
I'm not lying.
concrete
I've been ready to
around the bandstand.
That's what I said.
I'll tell you what you do.
Bridge,
I
Set up an
know.
account.
sidewalk,
We'll make it work.
memorial,
Yeah,
there we go. And bridge in here.
And this is the bathroom,
Put it in Justin's.
or am I in the wrong one?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
The
That didn't be
I'll
the
put
only
Terry's
authorized
name.
signature.
Their bid goes from the front of the park down to the bandstand, around the entire bandstand, under this bridge, not that bridge.
And then this bridge gives you compass from the back sidewalk.